Hello and welcome to Single Parent Success Stories. Today's guest is Michelle Mintz. She's joining us from Santa Monica, California. She is an early development expert and she empowers you to enrich the way you interact with your babies and toddlers. Welcome, Michelle. It is a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, awesome. So please share with us, how do you help people?
Thank you. So my background is as a speech and language therapist. I've been doing that for over 25 years, and I specialize working with the birth to 3 population, helping them and their families expand language. And I found that the strategies that I use are really for all babies and toddlers that are birth to 3 years old, not just for babies and toddlers that are having difficulty with their language development. So that's where Baby Blooming Moments was born. And I've created it so that all parents, grandparents, nannies, and siblings of children birth to 3 can learn these amazing strategies so that they can implement them in their day, and it will help to enrich the brain connections that still need to develop during these years. These are critical years for neurons in the brain that haven't yet come together. And these are the years that they will form, which helps our babies and toddlers become brighter and smarter. And we have to have them form during these years by giving them different enriching experiences. So the way that we read to them, the way that we talk to them and interact with them is going to make a difference as to whether this connection happens or it doesn't happen. So Baby Blooming Moments is able to coach you on catching moments to implement these strategies so that your babies can become brighter.
Awesome. Sounds good. And I totally agree with you about building those neural connections, especially early on. And even as adults, we still have some, contrary to popular belief, people think they stop learning at some age. That is not true. We can learn at any age.
That is true. We can learn at any age. People take language classes and business, all sorts of classes. So absolutely, our brain is able to absorb and learn new information really throughout most of our life until our geriatric years. But the critical years for getting these really, really important stimulations that set the basis for how life will be is in these early years. So we want to make sure that we're doing the most that we can, the best that we can. So it's not just that you're talking or reading, because I hope that you are, because that's very important, but it's how you're doing those things that's going to make the difference. And so these critical years are so very important for eye contact. We want to increase attention, help them with their vocabulary and their developmental milestones. Doing that early on can help you and your baby have better sleep because their mind is active and stimulated in the day. They become tired. So everybody's going to sleep better. You're going to have less separation anxiety when you're ready to take those babies and toddlers to preschool or daycare, because there's an attachment that's been built early on, and there's a safety and a trust. And so when you have that, then your child knows you're going to come back to pick them up. There's not so much separation anxiety. So building these early connections are so important for the brain. They're also important for those attachments. So you attach to somebody safe in your environment, whether that's a parent, a nanny, a grandparent, a foster parent, whatever it might be. Those people early in life are the most important, that we just want to capture all of these strategies and use them to the best we can.
Yes, totally. So right. So would you like to give us an example?
Of course, I'm going to give you one of my most favorite strategies, because you can use this strategy really from the moment your baby is born. If you can think about that, right when they're born, you can use this strategy. You can use it when they're 2. You can use it when they're 6. You can use it when they're 13. And I use it with my 22-year-old. It's getting eye contact, because eye contact is the key for having a conversation. So if you don't have eye contact, and doing this on the computer is actually very challenging, because I want to look at you, which is down there, because I need to see how you're looking, how you're laughing right now, how you're responding. But I'm not giving you eye contact because the camera is here, and then you're getting the eye contact. So eye contact is really important when you're talking with somebody. They feel you're listening, paying attention. So how do we increase eye contact with just a newborn or a baby? It's really simple. You're going to take the object that they want, whatever object that is. So a baby, it might be their little rattle. Maybe it's a bottle. Maybe it's a sippy cup. Maybe it's a book. Whatever they want, and their eyes are going to be on that object. So all you're going to do is you're going to bring that object to their eyes, to your eye, excuse me. Bring it next to your eye, because then they're looking here. Very easy to shift from the object to your eye. And you got a connection. Oh, you want your sippy cup? You got a smile. You've told them cup, maybe depending on the age, they've repeated cup, and then you give it to them. You've had a moment, you've had an engagement, instead of here's your cup. And there's not an engagement together. So it's so simple. A lot of times, whatever it is, okay, they want their favorite book read over and over, okay, All Done Binky, about getting rid of a pacifier, on Amazon from me. Hold it by your eyes, okay? They're gonna look, you've got a connection. Oh, let's read your book. Let's give you that bottle, okay? So that's how you do, and that is a strategy that is fabulous for all ages. And again, very important, because then you've got that connection. And then you have all that comes with it. If you've missed that moment and you just give it to them, which sometimes we have to do. We can't always take the time, although it's pretty quick to do this real quick. Some of the strategies, they don't take too much time, but depending on your day and where you are, you might not be able to do it. But that's my favorite strategy. And you can use that everywhere and anywhere, and you've got them locked in for even that moment. That made another connection in their brain that wouldn't have been there. So that's my favorite strategy.
You're so right, because there is a non-verbal communication that is happening, and there is so much of it. It's actually 90% is non-verbal, and the words.
I'm glad you know that.
Not even important as the intention and the presence of you being there and looking and articulating.
Well, I'm really, really glad that you mentioned that fact, because that is true. It's about 85 to 90% of how we communicate with one another is nonverbal. Nonverbal includes facial expressions, eyes, smiles. I do a lot with that. Nonverbal includes your body language, your position, okay, and your hand gestures. All of that is communication. And babies, toddlers, infants, newborns communicate. We just have to learn how. They communicate by crying, looking, and then they get sounds, and then they make words. So communication is the key to connecting. And so you need to communicate on their level, and communication includes a lot of nonverbal. So in other words, if I said to you, I am so happy to be here, and I'm really having a really good time. And I can't wait to show everybody all my strategies. I'm not sure you're going to believe me. My words are telling you that, but all the rest of me is not expressing that. And you know what? That's really what we go on more, is all the rest. And the kind of the words are like, they're not matching. I don't think that's right. So we need to be aware of how we are communicating to our infants, babies, toddlers. What is our verbal and nonverbal expression, and what is theirs, so that we can communicate appropriately. If you just got really bad news and you come to feed your little baby, Okay. And you want to have, you know, a great engagement, and you're like, I'm gonna feed you now. We're gonna have a good time. Okay, that's not gonna happen. So we need to, you know, be very aware. Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah,
Mhm.
so true. What kind of people come to you for help? What do you see most?
That's a good question. So I have all ages, and because, well, all ages, again, birth to three, that birth to three population. So a lot of times I'll have somebody coming maybe around 12 or 18 months, and they're kind of getting close to those terrible twos, we call them, and finding that independence, and what do I do, and I don't know how to, you know, help my baby with their behaviors. um Knowing that communication, communicating appropriately, and how to respond is critical. And so learning how to catch moments appropriately, and how you respond so that they can respond back. Okay. We as parents and adults, we need to sort of put on our oxygen mask first on the airplane, if you will. We need to take that breath and calm down when our children are, you know, perhaps misbehaving or not listening to our directions. And if we're all hyped up and anxious, and in that moment they're feeling that, so we need to calm ourselves first so that we can be there for them, and we can use appropriate tones, body language, and things like that. So I've got parents who come to me with that. I've got parents who say, I've got a newborn, I've learned how to diaper, I've learned how to feed, I've learned how to bathe. I don't know what else to do with this 2-3 month old lump. I have dads who say, you know, it's just a lump. I just had him say that the other day. You know, it's just a lump. I can't do anything with him. Oh, no, no, no. This lump is ready for so much for you to do at 2 months, at 3 months. And a lot of people don't know that. How can you play with that child in a way that's going to stimulate their brain differently, you know? So while you sing to them, and you sing your little nursery rhymes, sing it slow. Don't sing it as fast as we hear on the tape, you know, the CDs and things. It's too fast. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Okay, engaging in their eyes. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Okay, it's very fast. So that's a lot of, you know, is what do I do? I have dads who often say, okay, I've got my 2-year-old, and I throw them up in the air and I play airplane with them. I'm not really sure what else to do with them, you know? So I give them great ideas of what to do, where to go. Okay. Pet store. If you got, like, you know, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, I love going to the pet store. We have things like Petco and PetSmart. You know, don't know where you are, and you don't have to buy anything, but you can touch the toys, you can talk about the animals, you can look, there's so much to talk about. Instead of going to the park, you go there, and then that's your activity. So I have so many people with so many different reasons that, you know, that come, and some don't know they're looking for me. That's a lot of it. You don't know you're looking for baby blooming moments because you don't really know it exists. It's not, although my background is as a speech therapist, I'm not doing speech therapy because it's for all children. It's for everybody. So nobody really knows how to find me. So that's what baby blooming moments is, how you find me. Can be considered a parent coach. So I might, you know, I'm coaching, but it's a different type of program than anything else that's out there. So I'd, you know, love to share. Yeah.
Sure, sure. So you helping parents better to establish better connection with their kids, with the little babies, to get them more involved, more engaged, to start them have a better, deeper connection.
Have a stronger connect. So there's two connections I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about the brain connections that need to form during these critical years so that you have smarter, brighter children. And also talking about the connection that a child needs to make they need to feel safe with somebody and feel like they have trust. And so they, come home and that's their person. And and with that attachment comes by how the experiences between that parent, whether it's a mother, whoever that is, or a dad, or a babysitter, a nanny. If a nanny or somebody is taking care of that child primarily for a lot of the day, that person needs to have these skills to attach. And I want to mention that with the COVID and the pandemic, we have what's called pandemic babies. And there are studies and research that has been done that these pandemic babies who were isolated and not able to go anywhere for 2 years are actually behind on their talking milestones, their social skills, and their reading milestones, because all they had was that indoor. They didn't have those experiences. And so we need to catch these babies up. They're going to be behind academically, emotionally, socially, difficulty with friends and peers. And then you think about, mental health, issues. And, so we want to avoid all that. Baby blooming moments can help give the strategies so that parents, everybody can help implement now, which is when it's needed, to try to catch them up. So that's really critical right now. I've seen baby blooming moments has been around, but and my strategies, but now with pandemic babies, it's actually like an urgency.
Yeah, you're right. I've noticed in my kid, he was going through kindergarten and
Oh, okay, yeah.
fourth grade, and half of the year it was normal, then the other half it was all broken, and now everything seems to be speeding up so fast.
Yeah, okay, right. Yeah. So it's like, okay, we're behind and we actually have to go faster. And academically, yes, but they did get the academics as much as they could, however that was figured out for each age of what that was. And we know that was different. But what couldn't happen was the social. You did your Zooms or whatever the kids could do, but social development and emotional development is just as critical as academic knowledge, to know how to relate to people in the world. And we're seeing that now with adults who are isolated and don't know how to re-enter the world, and all the mental health, happening right now with adults. So think about the children who never had those skills to begin with, and now have to learn. It's just, they just need help, and we need to give them as much help as we can in all ways and areas. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's so true. I go to Disneyland, and I was like, so many people.
That's what I hear
this year. And it's probably because from being indoors so much, and now you get exposed like
I know. And I hear that actually there, you have to make a reservation. I just heard yesterday. So they are limiting the number, captivating it at some point, but it's it's still, a lot. Yeah.
I didn't understand.
So so and Disneyland's filled with so many places that and so much that you can talk about, and it's very stimulating. It could be too overstimulating for some children, and we have to be aware of that. And that's what I'm saying. Be aware of your child. Learn your baby and toddler. Learn to get to know from their body language and facial expressions, because they don't have the words to express it. So you do need to rely on that nonverbal. Are they looking scared? Are they looking worried? Name those feelings for them so that they feel validated. Oh, wow, you're looking worried. Maybe you can say, I'm feeling worried. And, really, and, oh God, you're getting me. You're understanding me. That communication, that I'm communicating something and you're understanding it, that feels good. Whether you're a baby, a toddler, so, verbally communicating, and, Absolutely. I have so many strategies. So eye contact is one. I talked about singing slowly. Okay, that's kind of another strategy, talking slowly. So just another quick strategy before we go is if we want to draw attention to what words and sounds look like, instead of bringing the object up here, we'll bring the object over here. So we draw attention to our mouth. So we can say more, or open, and they can see how the lips and the mouth look different for different sounds. I would start this probably about 9-10 months. We're going to want to get to words starting around a year, and so we really want to pay it to, bring attention. So that's another strategy. So many strategies that are really easy to implement. They don't take any time extra in your day. You do them while you're already diapering, you're already feeding. Just you're going to include these little things that are going to make such a big impact.
Yes, habit stacking.
Yes.
You're already doing one thing that you're supposed to do anyway.
Right.
Put something additional on top.
Something additional, and what it is such a little tweaky additional thing. It's that, and when you start to remember it and recognize, oh yeah, I should do this, and you become more aware of it, it becomes more natural in your routine and what you do, and it's just to my eyes all the time now, and so then it becomes natural, and it's not something you think about, and then there it is. You've got more eye contact kind of all the time, and then you implement another strategy wherever you are. So they're not time consuming, because I know you already are very rushed. So that's why they're so wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, this is awesome. What makes you happy?
What makes me happy? Watching progress and growth in a few things. Watching what gives me great joy is having a parent see and be aware for the first time of what their toddler or baby can do that they didn't know. So whether it's I do more, and then their child says more, and I didn't know they could do that, and the tears come down their face. That's the most incredible joy to me, is seeing that moment where that parent said, my child does something and I didn't know they could. That's brilliant.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Don't worry so much. Don't worry. I am a worrier. And if you could, it doesn't help to worry. It does, and just to have a little, I guess, a little bit more chill, to like, it's gonna be okay. Don't anticipate what the wrong thing is. Let's have a little bit more chillness.
Yeah.
Good question. Unexpected. Good question.
What is the smallest thing you've done that had the biggest impact in your life so far?
Oh my goodness. Well, the little smallest thing, he was 7 pounds, 7 ounces. His name is Ryan. He was born March 27, 2000. And he was the smallest thing I am the most proud of.
That's amazing. Amazing. Any fun projects you're working on right now that you like to share?
I am doing such fun things with Baby Blooming Moments. I've donated my program to the Carousel of Hope Foundation, which is a foundation which raises money for children's diabetes. And they're having a very big event on October 8th. And so I'm very excited to have my program donated to such a wonderful cause. And I am providing Baby Blooming Moments to pediatrician offices, where I can go and give my strategies and my moments to pediatricians so that they can pass that along to all of their clients and patients. And a new hobby of mine is I've really gotten into gardening and flowers and plants. I guess I watch everything bloom. And so I've watched, so I had a plant and I thought it was a goner, and it's sprouting leaves and it's blooming. And it's really amazing how much joy it's actually really bringing me. So, so that's been fun too.
It's incredible. I also do gardening stuff, and I planted a lemon seed that I thought, well, it came out.
Did it work?
It's sprouted.
You have a lemon tree? Nice.
Watch some TikTok video of a guy how to have a lemon tree.
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah. And other than that, I did cucumbers, and I did like green beans.
Good for you. Yeah, it's fun when it works.
Yeah, and I don't know what I'm doing. I just put seeds in, put some water, and it blooms.
And there you have some food. Yeah, it's fun.
What advice can you give to single parents who have little babies, toddlers?
Yeah, so I am a single parent as well. I think the advice that I would give to single parents is to reach out and get as much help as you can. Get support. We need support. It's very, very hard to do on your own. I had the most amazing support system, which was my mom, my dad, and my sister. And I have been able to raise an incredible man with my co-parenting partners, and there's just too much. There's too many questions. There's too much, and there's so much that you can reach out now. And so don't be shamed to reach out. Don't be embarrassed. It's validating to hear somebody else going through and having questions like you do. You don't have to be alone. You do not. I can be here. Yeah, I can be here as a support of so many different things. Baby Blooming Moments is about that communication and that attachment, but so much goes along with it. Don't be alone. Reach out. You need the help, and you can get the help so many places. So
yeah, thank you. Do you have any practices that you implement that allowed you to be resilient as you are being a single parent?
So I'm never able really to meditate, but I do yoga. I do breathing exercises to keep me centered. I had to put on my oxygen mask. Fortunately, not a lot of times with my son first. I was really fortunate. He was really, really very well behaved. But sometimes I did. And it's hard to remember to do that first when you're in that moment where your child, especially when you're out in public, when your child is in that grocery store and you're in the restaurant and they're, escalating, their temperature escalating, their behavior, their vocalizations, especially, it's embarrassing and everything. And so you want to just shut it down and put the fire out really quick, but take a breath and think about what is appropriate. What's appropriate in public is different than what's appropriate in your home of how to handle things. I'm happy to share that more and get into more details, but you do need to handle it differently. And make sure, you try to contain yourself so that you can have the energy and the appropriateness with your child so that you don't escalate. That's the hard part.
It's so true. And oftentimes we can go off a ringer. So it's important to just take a breather.
It's so hard too in that moment when your child starts spinning and you just so if you can think about and have the strategies and the tools and the techniques beforehand in your back pocket, and they've been practiced. We role play them, or, we practice so that when the moment comes, you go, okay, I got that one. I know what to do, and it is much more calming for yourself. And actually the process with your child is better to get through that hard time too.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Is there anything I haven't asked that you like to share?
I don't think so. I think we've covered really a lot. I just want to stress again, baby blooming moments for all babies, birth to 3. And what I forgot to mention actually is that when somebody has a child and then they have another baby, so they've got this older sibling, oftentimes it's hard to engage that older sibling with your baby, and you want them to be connected and you want them to like each other. And so you ask that older sibling, maybe they're 3 or 5 or 10, can you help mommy and go get the baby's diaper? Can you go get the bottle? And you have them connect with the baby by being the go-getter or the helper. And that's not really having them connect with the baby. So I'm all about teaching strategies that help the siblings connect with the baby. Let's have that 5-year-old hold that car or that snack trap, that bottle by their eyes, connect with the baby, get a smile. Mommy, I made the baby smile. And that makes the little brother feel so good and they want to do it again. So we want siblings to connect with their babies in different ways than perhaps you might have them be. So that's another area that, I'm really good at, is getting that everybody wants to be connected, connect the family. And so siblings, parents, nannies, grandparents. Okay. And the last thing, actually, I do want to mention, you didn't ask about it, and that is about screens and screen time. FaceTime. Okay. Okay. They recommend before 18 months, a child should not have a screen at all. Starting at 18 months till about 3, they should really only be having about a half an hour, maybe an hour of screen time. And that's all. And screen time should not be just giving them something for a screen. Okay. If you're giving them screen time, you sit with them. You say, oh, look at the ball went up and down. I see the bubbles. You pause the screen, say, where'd the dog go? And they point to the dog. So you interact with the screen. That is true FaceTime. Okay. So when I call FaceTime, FaceTime is not the FaceTime we all think it is. Okay. FaceTime is FaceTime, eye contact, true FaceTime. Screen time can be engaging in screens, but please don't let them have those screens by themselves. It just is not good for their brains and their connections. So that's an important one.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you for remembering and bringing that up. If people would like to find you, connect with you, where would they go?
babybloomingmoments.com is my website. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Baby Blooming Moments. I'm on LinkedIn at Michelle Mintz. You can do the old-fashioned telephone call. And I love to talk to people because my program is so different. I individualize it, so the fees and the rates are depending on what everybody is. So call me so I can explain it. 424-226-2206. Certainly you can email me, Michelle at babybloomingmoments.com.
Thank you. And we will include everything in the episode notes so people can reach out to you directly. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Communication skills for little babies and how important it is to engage them at that early age. Thank you.
Thank you.